All right, the last couple of items we're going to look at under the Edit menu are Go To and Selection. These can be pretty helpful, especially when you're wanting to navigate to real specific locations and also make real precise edits. Okay, here we are in our VO sample file, and we're going to go up to the Go To selection under the Edit menu. What this gives us is it gives us a way of very accurately going to a specific location within the file. I can have some default choices here. I can go to the cursor, I can go to data start, which means the start of any data that's in the file, data end, and data end +1 to just go a little bit past it, zero crossings, and I'll explain a little bit more about zero crossings when we get into some more fine selecting here in a couple seconds. And you can go to specific time, the next time increment. The other thing you can do here in this dialog is you can go to a specific time based on input that you want to put in. You also have choices of the format for the input you want to put in. So right now, because our timeline and everything we're looking at here in this particular file is in time, as opposed to in samples or seconds, or SMPTE 30 frames per second audio, or 2997 drop frame SMPTE video. I mean, you have a lot of flexibility here, measures and beats if you're working on specific music things. We're in seconds here, so I can, I can enter in a specific, let's say 5. Let me enter in 5.227234. Okay, I'll hit OK, and my cursor jumps to that exact spot on the timeline here inside the file. So that's one cool way of being able to get to an accurate point. The other thing is that you can make selections do various things. For example, right now I've got the selection kind of off in between things. If I go into the selection menu here and I say snap to time, it then jumps, as you can see here on the timeline, to the next big time increment, and it's a precise jump to that exact point in time. So if we go up here and we look at our Go To menu, we can see it's exactly at 5 seconds. So it jumped right to that particular next time increment because I was kind of set in between there. So that's a cool way of going to jumping to a specific time. The other thing is that you can snap the edge to time. So for example, if I make a selection here, let's zoom in a little bit. If I make a selection here, and let's say I'm kind of making this selection right here. Now I made the selection going from left to right. If I go in here and I make selection snap edge to time, it now snaps the direction I made the selection. In other words, from end to beginning, it snaps the beginning to the next major time increment, which is right here at 4 seconds. If, on the other hand, I were to make the selection and go, let's go this way and not go all the way there, then what I will do this time is if I do the same selection, snap edge to time, it will now snap the right edge to the next increment, which is at the 5 second mark right there. So it gives you a lot of flexibility and also accuracy in terms of being able to accurately get something selected within a precise exact location that you want. The next are the snap to 0 and snap edge to 0. Now to be able to see really how this works, let's zoom all the way in. Let's go all the way into the sample zone here and get down in here. And let's scroll back a little way so we can see some of the waveform. So when we're talking about snap to 0 or snap edge to 0, what we're really referring to here is the fact that we're talking about zero crossing. And zero crossing is any point in the audio waveform that lands on the 0 axis is called a zero crossing. And you want to make your edits at that point simply because you're less likely to get a pop or anything kind of weird going on. So if I have, say, this section of audio selected right here, and I want to have it snap to 0, then if I hit this command right here, you see that it moved both sides of my selection so that now this one is snapped to the 0 point right there. This one snapped to the 0 point right here. So it went to the nearest 0 crossing, meaning crossing of the axis here, went to the nearest zero crossing, so that if I'm going to edit something out or if I'm going to put something in there, I'm less likely to have any kind of pop or any kind of weird artifacts going on. Now, another function you can do here with this is if I've got, again, got this selected in here like this, so that I know I'm in an area where, I'm not exactly on the zeros here, I can also then snap the edge to 0. And it'll just move whichever, again, it works the same way as the other one did. Whichever direction I'm selecting, it'll jump to the 0 crossing point in that direction. So if I go this way like here, then it'll go up to selection, snap edge to 0. It'll jump to the front edge here in terms of the where it finds the 0 crossing point to snap the edge to that 0. Zoom back out. The last selection you have here under selection is set. And set meaning that literally what it says. You can set a start point and an end point for your selection. In this case, if I want to make my selection 1 second long, I'll make this 5. And I can just say OK, and boom, there it is. Another way of doing it is that I can go in and set a specific length that I want the selection to be. So in this case, I want it to be, say, 10. And I can say OK, and then it selects just that section of it. You have a lot of flexibility with what you can do here with your selections, especially with the set command here. Additionally, you have the ability to set some defaults in here or choose some defaults, such as all sample data, cursor to the end of the sample, etc., etc. You can also choose if you want both channels or just one channel, left, right, selected. And you can also choose the input format. Again, same as we saw in the other menu, where right now I'm in time, but I could also change it to seconds or measures in beats or whatever I needed to do to be able to accurately make my selection point in here. Can also make a selection. Let's say if I want to, I'm at 6.524 seconds right now is where the cursor is. And let's say I want to make a 2-second selection. So I'm going to go in here and hit 2. And now I can go ahead and choose play looped and hit play with another track using the so make sure that I got the right section selected. The other thing is that if you're zoomed way in and you're at 0 crossings or whatever, you can also snap to 0 by using those commands down here as well too. So that pretty much covers everything we've got under the edit menu and the selections that we've got going on here.